Welcome to Provider Processing's video tutorial series on collecting payment and bringing past due accounts current. In these tutorials, we will reveal the importance of having updated, easy-to-follow, modern methods of increasing cash flow. In this episode, we will be focusing on making distinctive collection phone calls and overcoming objections, and how this will make your life easier and increase revenue to the practice. Do you have patients who like to come into your practice dripping with jewelry, or want to tell you about a great vacation they just took, or want to show you their brand new car? And these are the very patients who have an outstanding balance with you? Frustrating, to say the least. You have to face facts and realize the expenses of running the business side of healthcare is out of control. From skyrocketing malpractice insurance premiums and student loan repayment, leases, utilities, supplies, equipment costs, annual inspections, compliance requirements, continuing education, and trying to pay yourself and employees proper compensation. Add to that, no one wants to pay you. Insurance companies are a joke, always looking for ways not to pay. Medicare, if you deal with it, pays pennies on the dollar. And all of your patients assume you and the entire staff are swimming in cash. The facts are, the decline in patient payments at the time of treatment and ineffective post-visit collections can be attributed to 5 dangerous oversights nearly all practices make. The 5 dangerous oversights are not having a sound financial policy or having patients completely fill in information forms, not accurately asking for payment at the time of treatment, not sending effective statements via regular and email, not utilizing modern techniques and technology, and not making distinctive collection calls. The simple thing to convey is you want to make sure it is easier for your patients to pay you than not to pay. Humans consistently look for easier, faster ways and paths of least resistance. Make it easier to pay and difficult not to, and guess what? Patients will pay. Every employee would love to receive, and every employer would love to give, higher incomes and bonuses. But in order for that to happen, you, like many of our clients, must have money flying at you from all directions. If you currently do not have multiple revenue streams and patients paying you like clockwork, you had better get a clear picture as to what is happening, because it really is quite simple. In order to keep the doors open, the lights on, and payroll covered, money has to come in. And it's Doc's job to treat the patient, be the hero or heroine, and it is the staff's job to ensure money is coming in. If the staff does not bring in the money, how do you expect the employer to keep covering payroll? If you have ever made one of those "why ain't I been paid" phone calls and ever thought there must be an easier way, well, this is it. The founder of Provider Processing has helped thousands of medical, dental, vision, and chiropractic owners and staff bring in millions of dollars in revenue over the last decade. A few helpful hints you will need as you study these video tutorials is make sure to take notes. Keep an eye out for these symbols, as you will see quick tips on modern techniques and technology appear at times throughout the tutorials, or reminders to free downloads. And I strongly suggest you download the free forms prior to watching any videos. And lastly, we are big fans of keeping it simple. We will make it easier for the patients to pay than not to pay. Having free and continual access to these training tutorials will compel your practice to have sound financial policies and patient forms in place, accurately asking for payment, sending effective statements via regular and electronic mail, utilizing modern technology and techniques, and make distinctive collection calls. And in this episode, we will be focusing on making distinctive calls and overcoming objections. In this tutorial, you will quickly learn to make brief collection calls, keeping it simple. In order to be extremely successful in bringing in money over the phone, you will want to be brief and allow the patient's own programming to do the heavy lifting. The human brain runs to, grabs a hold of, and rarely lets go, almost clinging on for dear life to the negative. People are drawn to Murphy's Law and worst-case scenarios, and it is very important you do not get caught up in the patient's entire story. Now, it's okay to be sympathetic, just do not cross the line to empathetic. What's the difference? Sympathy is acknowledging a person's hardships and providing comfort and assurance, whereas empathy is putting yourself in their shoes. Empathy goes way beyond sympathy and forms an emotional connection that will drastically hinder your ability to clean up a past due balance. Remember, it is the patient's balance, not yours. The easiest way to make an effective collection phone call and not get caught up in the drama is to make sure you spend no longer than 2 to 3 minutes engaging the patient. The only time it should be acceptable in your mind to spend longer is if the patient is digging out their credit card or checking account number. Anything else will allow them to take control. And as previously mentioned, when making collection calls, sympathy will get you a lot further than empathy. You will hear all sorts of excuses and reasons as to why the patient is not paying you. But keep in mind, the fact of the matter is, they are paying everyone else. They're just trying to take advantage of your doctors and your good heart. One simple way that you can maintain control is to agree with your patients and not be confrontational. Whatever the reason a patient gives for not paying, for example, maybe they go into a story about how they just had a big auto repair, and a perfect response to that would be, "Oh, gosh, can you believe it? I can't believe how everything is so expensive nowadays. I recently had a transmission go out in my car, and it was a lot of money to get it fixed. But like that mechanic got paid, we also need to get paid so we can maintain our high level of care. Do you have a credit card there handy? We'll go ahead and take care of that." Now, let's look at how you can use people's negative programming to increase payment to your office. You should do everything possible to collect payment on the first call. It is quite possible that your statement just slipped your patient's mind and not paying you was simply an oversight, or it could be that they had no intention of paying you at all. You can find out quickly by making sure you have the best collection phone call ready to go. Mr. Schleets, this is Sam from Dr. Brown's office. You have an outstanding balance of $300. Do you have a credit card there handy? We'll go ahead and take care of that. Now, if they pay, great. If not, I want you to plant a seed in that patient's mind that will allow their mind to go to work. Should they say no or give a reason you cannot quickly overcome, just follow up with this. "Oh, I understand. Mr. Schleets, do you still work at ABC Discounters?" Or wherever your patient information form shows that they are employed. Now, this is why it's so important to have a fully completed patient information form covered in an earlier tutorial. Now, after you hang up, what do you suppose is going on in that patient's head? They will replay it over and over, coming up with the worst possible outcome. They will be thinking, "Whoa, wait a minute. Sam from Dr. Brown's office just called and asked for payment. I said no. Then they wanted to know where I work." They won't be able to stand it. They'll start thinking of their employer getting involved or who knows what. The point is, most likely, they are going to call back with questions. And when they do, be prepared. So let's put this together and remember to be helpful. Sam, this is Mr. Schleets. You just called me about a balance owing? Oh, yes. Well, I said I couldn't pay, and then you wanted to know where I work. Yeah, that's correct. Well, why did you want to know that? Now, you can see what's going on, right? They are genuinely concerned. But you have one more statement to really let that seed you planted grow out of control. And here it is. "Mr. Schleets, I'm not sure why they want us to verify that information. I'm not really for sure what they do with it. But I'd like to help you out if I could. Do you have a credit card there handy? We'll go ahead and take care of that." Now, should they want to make good on the entire balance, great. But if not, remember to get them to pay something. If they do not pay, your instant response should be, "Okay, I understand. Well, how much time would you need to pay the balance of $300? And as covered in an earlier tutorial of ways and times of asking for payment, set up a payment plan. But in order for this to work correctly, you need to have multiple ways for that patient to pay you at this exact moment. A critical error almost all doctors' offices make at this exact moment is not having the proper technology available to them. Instead of just being able to take payment over the phone, be able to direct them to your website or email them an invoice. By now, you should have your PayJunction software up and running, and this will even allow you to capture electronic signatures via email, cutting down on chargebacks. Now, showing the proper emotion and not losing your cool will go a long way in cleaning up balances that are owed to your office. Maintain control and realize you can agree with what they are telling you. But if the end result is the patient not paying, just remember, no one else accepts these stories. You've probably heard, practice makes perfect, but that's not necessarily true. You can practice something all you want, but until you start practicing it perfectly, it will never be perfect. When you get really good, asking for money becomes second nature, kind of like a well-choreographed mamba. Do you have a credit card there handy? We'll go ahead and take care of that. 1, 2. Oh, I don't have a credit card. 3, 4, as you do your dance steps. Oh, well, we can go ahead and take a check. 1, 2. I didn't bring my checkbook. 3, 4. Well, we can certainly take cash. 1, 2. I don't have any money. 3, 4. Well, then go to the bank. 1, 2. You get the point. You should be able to ask for multiple payment methods and be able to ask more than once. Know that you are well able and you are able to have an accounts receivable that most offices would envy. We wish you and your business much success. It is no secret when business is good and accounts receivable are in check, everyone is happier. Remember, bonuses, raises, and pay increases can only come from healthy bottom lines. And just as you have seen major advancements in medicine over the years, you've also seen major advancements in how payment is accepted. And we've looked at trade, that's out. We've looked at cash, good luck with that. And by now, you should have gotten rid of these outdated processors. So, now that you have the last payment system your practice will ever use and have a staff that collects fees like a fine-tuned machine, feel free to come back to our website often to view quick tutorials, attend webinars, or get support contact information anytime. We are confident you will enjoy PayJunction's collections and financial management software like thousands of other providers across the country. Should you have any questions about the video tutorial you have just watched, or to find out more about how PayJunction software can make your life easier, feel free to contact us anytime. Thank you.